Hey, everybody, happy holidays and welcome back to the show. This, of course, is Pretend World's Real People, and I am your host, Tyler, somebody who is sort of, I think, experiencing one of those Christmas season head colds. Hopefully, you can't tell, but I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet either way. I just want to get right into this week's episode because it is all about one of my favorite people ever. She's just fantastic. And we worked on a television show this last summer. Every day was made less stressful by us just dorking around and chatting. So I just want to get right into it. Let's tune into her story. I would love for you to help me in welcoming my amazingly talented friend and just awesome makeup artist, Kristin Forgy. Sweet. Okay, so yeah, as I said before, if you wouldn't mind telling our listeners who you are and what you do.
My name is Kristin Forgy, and I am a makeup artist for film, television, commercial, etc.
Just all around aesthetic badass. Like,
Pretty
and I'm
accurate.
not just saying that because we worked together for like half the summer.
Totally.
Well, the first question I always ask is because this whole industry is absolutely nuts and very unstable, but there are so many like great memories you can have with it, both personal and career wise. How did you find yourself in the middle of the entertainment industry?
Okay, well, let's go back to the very beginning. So I do have a very creative family. My mom was a cosmetologist, and my uncle was actually a special effects. He had a shop in the 90s that was pretty successful. So I kind of grew up in and around some pretty cool sci-fi stuff, if you're into that stuff. And in my 20s, I had gotten married and was living my best life and didn't really know what I wanted to do school-wise, kind of in and out, like just wasn't figuring out, like wasn't finding that something. I was like, no, I don't want to be a liberal arts major. No, I don't want to do this. And randomly, one of my girlfriends at the time was like, well, you always look so beautiful with your makeup. Why aren't you a makeup artist? And it was like one of those like Oprah aha moments where I was just like, huh, hmm, cool story. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I was lucky enough through friends to get hooked up with this commercial makeup artist who is still one of my favorite people in the whole world. I love her so much. And she's kind of like my makeup mom, gave me like allowed me to intern for her and kind of got my start. And then from there, it was just, as we all do, word of mouth and trying to hustle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
I'm
here
sure.
and here we are today.
Well, especially with makeup. I mean, it's such a big industry, but it's small, right? Like people know people everywhere. So like how long because I don't think I've ever talked to somebody about, their journey through the makeup department portion. How long did it take for you to sort of find some stable footing and, make some money so you can tell your other jobs, hey, I'm gonna go down to part-time. I got
Right?
some other stuff going on.
It's the dream is the day where you get to be like, I quit my restaurant job, suckers. Um, Gosh, it was definitely like bit by bit.
Yeah.
But then kind of as I was starting makeup, I also got a divorce, very
Oh, shit.
amicable. And so I had also like moved into a new place and I was kind of right in the heart of LA and Thai town and everything kind of just the energy started kind of just taking off. And it really was a lot of like just taking all the jobs and becoming super, super available. And that I think, when you work hard and you say yes
Mhm.
to people, that gets you on their list. And so I guess maybe it was like a year and a half into just starting makeup that I was like, okay, this is sustainable. Like,
Yeah.
book this little job here, book that little job there. And, sometimes the jobs weren't a great rate, but, if you collect enough of the low rate jobs, then, at
Yeah.
least you kind of get yourself out there, diversify your
portfolio.
opportunity, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, diversify who like knows your name, I guess,
Yeah.
get yourself out there.
See, and I love the makeup department. Like you guys are not only looking at continuity, but just the overall like I don't know, everything you do is done in sections and you have to keep track of all of it to make sure it looks great. So I mean, all of us have a job that maybe we took because we needed money and it
Mhm.
wasn't the best experience. I mean, do you have any earlier jobs that you look back on? You don't have to name any names, but it's just one of
I will name the
the
names.
shit.
Name
Never
them.
working
Name
for
them.
this person.
Um, I have had so many shenanigans jobs. There's so many. Um, I mean, I did this cheesy Lifetime movie in Belize, and that was probably like I am very happy to be like a street smart savvy lady because
Oh
it
shit.
was just like so I don't know. Can we swear on here? It was pretty shit
Oh,
showy.
absolutely. Yeah.
It was shit show. And I actually just got off a shit show as well. I mean, we met on Pulse,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that is like imagine Pulse. Not imagine you were there. It is like the dream job. It is on a stage. You have like legendary, like my boss on that show. The bosses. Oh
Yeah.
my god, like the best. Like every day, I tell them like I will sleep in the trailer if I could just stay on this job. Like I'll do anything because it's that awesome. Like it just didn't matter. I
Yeah.
just wanted to be there. And I recently, work has kind of slowed down in New Mexico. And so I went back to my LA roots because that's originally where I'm from and where I started was in Los Angeles. And I booked this low budget, like indie. It's announced, but I don't know if they have a title yet. So I don't know if I could say it.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
fair. Yeah, yeah.
but how should I explain? How should I explain this? Let's just say that the entire crew was like paid late the first week
Oh,
and I
that's
was
a
a
great
department
sign.
head. Yeah, it was awesome. Love it. uh, and in general, it was just being run like very haphazardly, and especially just coming off of like a dream job where you're like,
Yeah.
it could be this easy. It could be this easy.
Yeah.
Um, the sum up would be that they paid us late, and I definitely, as a department head, organized with the other department heads, and we absolutely stopped the work until they paid us. So like that's how that job went.
Holy shit.
I know, not great, not great.
Yeah.
So, I'm probably one of the most cautious people when it comes to what jobs I take because I did start in LA in like a larger market. And so I have like an array of questions I ask before I say yes to a job, especially if it's an indie.
Yeah.
And like if I'm going to be in charge, even if I'm not, I want to know like, is it nights? When are we getting paid? Like all those things. But somehow I still got looped into like shenanigans. So like it happens more often than not, honestly, because we are in theory like independent contractors in some sense. So like you just have to be so careful and protect yourself
Yeah.
because production will not be your friend, if you're not getting paid, like, you know what I mean? You have to really be very careful.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm sure it's the hey, I want the work to continue. However, I need to pay my mortgage, and there's all this other, we're all in it for the creativity, but also the money.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, this is a job, it is a career. So while we
Yeah.
are very good at our skills, um, there's still like a capitalistic aspect to it where, the power above sometimes, like this movie I just did, they will try to like get cute with it, you know?
Yeah. I know exactly what we're talking about too.
Yeah, yeah.
When you live in New Mexico now, you have the roots in Los Angeles. I know a lot of it is people, you have different like 6 degrees of separation type relationships with other professionals. But is there a way you are accruing other jobs? Are you submitting yourself to other jobs as well, or is it more of just that same word of mouth sort of connection you were talking about?
Yeah, with each department, it's definitely a little bit different and delicate because
Yeah.
I would say, there's definitely a lot of like kooky creatives out there, and there's, I call them like the old heads, like people that have been doing it for like 30 plus years.
Mhm.
And there's kind of people that have been doing it 15, and then there's brand new people. and each entity kind of operates differently. There's some people and just even different markets. Moving from Los Angeles to here, I have a professional website that's linked to my IMDb. It has images. It's all broken down in like beauty, like men's grooming, special effects, character makeup. Excuse me. But moving here, people weren't asking for that. They're asking for a paper resume. So just kind of depending on what they're asking for, you kind of have to mold yourself into the request. And my department is totally word of mouth. And it is definitely like, it feels like it's this massive entity, but it really is like you said, just a few degrees of separation to this person and that person. So you always kind of have to be on your best behavior, right? If you're trying to get hired, like you want to make yourself undeniably hireable. So it can get a little tricky.
Yeah. I'm a business professional, but I'm also fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk that line. And I don't think
Yeah, totally.
we had a couple mornings in the makeup trailer, and I don't think I asked you, what brought you to New Mexico instead of just staying in LA?
Really after the pandemic, 2021, I am single and I am very independent. And I don't have a lot of family support. Like there's not let's say a room for me to go to just move back into. So I have to like keep myself afloat. And so I was really just trying to chase a lower cost of living because Los Angeles is, I'm sure, as you know, it is just not sustainable. I am born and raised. I love my city. It's the best city. But, in the pandemic, just blowing through my savings on rent and bills and like, no, there was it differed in every state, right? But in California and LA in particular, like we were in our houses for a whole year, like very minimal interaction. So yeah, just really chasing a lower cost of living, trying to put roots down somewhere else and seeing like, okay, maybe this could be my place.
Yeah.
Taking a risk.
Yeah, just jump and you didn't, I mean, did you consider Atlanta as well, or just, something a little bit closer?
I did, but the bubble kind of already happened there. Like,
That's fair.
it is
Yeah.
a hub for film now. And
Yeah.
so because of that rent there it's expensive. So really just
Okay.
trying to look somewhere where, I could live and just keep myself small, not have anything too extravagant. I don't know. I think after the pandemic, for me personally, I'm just more cognitive of like my overall expenses. Like I'm just trying to keep everything as little as possible because now I have the fear.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, and with the strike on top of it, now like I have the fear.
It's been a whirlwind since COVID of not only that, the strikes ending, productions cutting costs and making far less, projects. So now it's just that I mean, I would love to go back to bartending, but that doesn't even pay as well anymore. It's
No,
like,
and I worked for years for my 20s, I worked in a restaurant as a server, like so the skill
yeah.
is there. And especially in my department, there is a lot of like service involved where you have to be sharp. And so those skills I feel like are still pretty good, but
Yeah.
I have avoided getting some kind of server job because it's I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but it just at a certain point, it's like, is it worth it to like give that energy and give your time and your schedule and commit when it's like almost not even as much as unemployment?
Yeah, it's frightening, right? We haven't quite caught up to where
Yeah.
the inflation rates have rose to. Um, yeah, I'll admit I left bartending in summer of 2022, and that was honestly when, of course, the savings was looking a little bit tight, but then things just really started to pick up, and it's the same thing you're talking about. Your energy is going somewhere else, and it's focusing on that thing. And you just seem like such a nomadic creative, and you say you like to keep things small, but what do you do to sort of keep yourself, I don't know, just emotionally satiated outside of work when you're not on set, you're not pursuing work, you're at home or you have a day off. Like, what do you do?
Mm.
What do you do, Kristen?
I definitely would say, is it cinephile, cinefreak? I don't know. I love
Oh,
movies. I've always loved movies, so I'm
yeah.
definitely all about like the new exciting, thing. Like love The Substance, so good.
Oh, I haven't seen that
I
yet.
also like to read. The Substance is if you like body horror, The Substance is good. If you don't
Okay.
like scary, then maybe not so much for you. But I'm sure as you are an actor, like
Mhm.
just the love of the scenarios that they invented in the script and the writing and everything
Yeah.
is it's pretty great and very original. Like one of the most original movies I've seen probably in the last 10 years.
Oh shit.
So,
Okay.
see, love that. We can do a whole podcast on just The Substance.
Oh yeah. Called Cinefreaks.
um, yeah, Cinefreaks, exactly. But yeah, I like to read too, music. As I get older. um, and as the hellscape is hellscaping, I
Mhm.
really enjoy like very gentle things like riding my beach cruiser around uphill or, you know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty mellow in terms of that, like activities, I guess. But reading and watching movies does kind of light up my creativity. I feel like it kind of sparks up good conversation. And it's always good to work the old noggin.
Yeah. Just well, oh God, I almost said wet the noodle, and that would have sounded horrifying. Uh
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I God, that's I can't believe I should have just kept it inside.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I know that, next time I'm in New Mexico, I'm just gonna call you up and say, "Hey, if you're free, let's go see a movie. I need to go do
Oh,
something."
please. Oh my
And
God. I love the movies. Well, I even get slack because I am ADHD and I will rewatch a movie. I will rewatch it and I will like
okay,
I'll watch it a whole time and then be like, okay, this time I'm gonna check out the costumes. Like, okay, what's going on with the costumes? You can't turn the crew member off a lot of times.
no,
Like I try to watch a movie the first time just as a audience member, like and enjoy it.
yeah,
And then if I rewatch it, I'll definitely start like looking at little things.
I'm
I'm
glad I'm
also a
not
huge
alone.
soundtrack nerd. Like I love
Oh,
movie soundtracks. Like that is definitely something that oh so good.
do you have a favorite? I got to dork out with you. Do you have a favorite soundtrack?
Oh, favorite soundtrack. Favorite soundtrack right now. Oh, right on the spot. You know what? Interstellar really changed the game. Really changed the game. Like
Yeah,
so many beautiful soundtracks before and after that, but the way Interstellar, I saw it in the theater probably 3 times. Again, a little bit of a nerd. And it was such an emotional experience. And
yeah.
that's what I love about movies. It can take you through the gamut of emotions.
See, and you come from a family of creatives. You sort of grew up adjacent to the industry, but still in the industry. But like, I don't know, going back to, when you were a kiddo, was there a movie that you watched more than any other movie that was maybe somewhat of a push to get you into the creative arts at some point?
Trying to think of movies that I loved. I am a millennial. So I would say, I mean, I had to wore out the VHS tape of Jurassic Park.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, wore it out. Like, who knows? Did it still work? Maybe. um, Jurassic Park was so, yeah, super formative as a kid. I would say Princess Bride as a kid was another
Hmm.
one that was like on repeat. Um, what else? Trying to think of any other movies that I loved as a kid. I mean, those are two
Yeah.
like big ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, those are humongous hits, and especially as a kid, I remember watching Jurassic Park. I was probably 4 or 5, and it leaves that impression in your brain, right? Just
Hmm.
anything is possible on this big silver screen. And God, you brought up Interstellar. I just did a movie here in September, and the entire run we were doing that movie, I just listened to that soundtrack on repeat, like to get into
Ugh.
that zone.
Oh
So magical.
yeah.
And I mean, you live small, you keep your life contained, you keep your expenses contained, but I mean, do you collect physical media, or are you more of the on the streaming side?
I would say I'm more on the streaming side.
Okay.
I was formerly a collector of the physical, and I wish that I had kept them around now because
Yeah.
Relying on streaming, I think, is a little sometimes, not mega reliable,
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, currently definitely digital.
Yeah, it's
But I love physical
somebody.
media.
I mean, it's you're real right. It takes up a lot of space, and streaming does have more stuff available. But then you get into that point of like your internet's buffering, and you're at a really crucial point in the movie, and then
Yeah,
it's just a blur of pixels.
exactly. Or even like I am a lover of the movie Showgirls. Hot take. Everyone can
Oh
have their opinion.
yeah.
I am obsessed with Showgirls. I love it. But maybe like 7 years ago, there wasn't such a big like following of it. It was
Mhm.
more of like this weird niche thing, and it was so hard to buy it digitally. Like it was not
Yeah.
on Apple. It was not on Apple. It wasn't on any of the
Oh my God.
streaming services. I think there was another weird one, and I remember having to sit in my room and like check all the services. There was only one that was available. So again, the physical media, you can go and buy that.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the digital, it's harder to find these like niche movies.
Especially that one. I mean, I know now it's a cult classic, but you're right. Even 10, 15 years ago, you'd say Showgirls and say, "Oh, I never want to see that movie." And
Yeah.
it sounded terrible. Like, well, you're not a
Yeah.
real cinephile if you haven't seen Showgirls. Um,
I mean, it is a tale for the ages.
it is.
Hot take though, hot take. We could do a whole other hour on just Showgirls.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll admit, I watched Showgirls before I ever saw Saved by the Bell, so I had that inverted response of,
Nice.
"That's a chick. Why is she in a
Yeah, wait a minute.
teen sitcom?"
Yeah, you're all, wait a minute.
Hollywood's a dark, dark place.
Yeah, totally.
Well, now
Yeah, so good.
you you live such like an adventurous lifestyle. You have this career that you really love and enjoy, and hopefully 2025 we get a little busier, fingers crossed. But I mean, if you couldn't work as work in the makeup department, whether as the head or an associate or somebody who's going around and keeping up with continuity, what would you do? I mean, what would be your backup job if you really had to go there?
Well, I am a native studies major at CNM. I am currently not enrolled because expensive.
Yeah.
But the goal with that was to also to graduate and then go on to get my Black and Chicano studies majors as well, to become a cultural strategist. So that's kind of the
Wow.
backup idea, really more for me than for anything. It's not a a job that I would imagine would make me very wealthy, but it would be fun.
It would be important,
So
you
that's
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some I do think that Netflix does have one on staff, like on their marketing team.
Okay.
But it would be another like freelance job. So, we'll see. If not, if that's not the backup plan, yeah, I don't really know the second backup plan.
Be a film critic.
I mean, not too shabby. I mean, food film critic, I'm in. I got opinions.
I just knew the second you and I met on Pulse, like, I just knew somehow we're going to be buddies. I don't know how. I don't know what degree, but
Totally.
every day I saw you on the call sheet, it was like, this is going to be a good day.
Oh
This is
yeah.
going to be
That is
fun.
such a good compliment. Thank you so much. Yeah. And same. I mean, that job is just, I cannot rave about it
Yeah.
enough. They somehow curated this phenomenal team on a massive show, where there is, I mean, some days, most days, was there probably minimum of 8 to 10 cast members, sometimes more.
Yeah.
So to have a show where everyone feels so happy every day is like, again, lucky. I mean, but also because of people like you, you're coming in so happy to be there and keep such an upbeat attitude the whole day, and it makes it wonderful and easy on everybody.
It was the nerves of I have a paragraph of medical jargon I have to just vomit out in 5 seconds, and yeah, it was a lot of anxiety. So when your ADHD and my ADHD like clicked, and okay, I'm good.
Totally.
I'm gonna be safe.
Yeah,
It'll
exactly.
be
Safe space,
okay.
safe space.
Yeah, safe space. I mean, you were on that entire production, right? When it was shooting in New
Um,
Mexico?
yeah, for some of it, I was on another movie when they started.
Oh, okay.
But on my days off on the movie, I was picking up days where they needed people, and then I think as as that kind of trickled in, they appreciated appreciated me.
They knew.
um, and then I kind of became like a permanent little resident,
Yeah. So you
without
had,
official residency, but was a resident.
oh, you weren't official yet.
Not like official, but official. Like I'm there at least 3 days a week, if not four. But wasn't like, we call it officially in the trailer.
Yeah.
But because it's such a big show too, Pulse specifically, they have to have a lot of day players because there's just not enough bodies to like watch people and
Mhm.
get people. That's a whole other complicated thing. But yes.
But it was an amazing experience, and it sounds like, especially on your end, you all were treated amazingly, and everything worked very. I mean, work stress is work stress, but no one was, trying to pay you late.
No. No. I mean, the payroll was so on top of it on Pulse. I think that one time, especially when I was doing the movie at the same time, which was on
Yeah.
nights and Pulse is on days. So I was like,
Oh shit.
my brain had died for sure. And I had forgotten to turn in my time card. And on this show, we got paid on Wednesdays.
Hmm.
And I remember I turned it in on Monday and I still got paid on Wednesday. And like they were working so
Holy
hard.
crap.
That is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give all the props to those payroll people.
I mean, they have that whole compound there, and like you said, you're used to, and I'm used to working for an independent production where that payroll is done by a producer who's states away or something. But
Totally.
I was working local in New Mexico, so I wasn't really making a whole lot take home because all of it was towards travel. But to get it, a week later, holy shit! Okay,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
all
great.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on top of it. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, and it's funny how those things really make a difference and add up
Yeah.
because when you're paid on time and people are going out of their way to like make it easy on you, it really frees up that creative space where you feel safe and you can kind of take a little risk here or there. You're not in like
Yeah.
survival mode of stress of like outside stuff at work. You can be in that space of like, oh, I'm going to create today and I'm going to play
Yeah.
versus like stressed out burnout.
The non-union net 90 brain that you can have on some production.
No, no. Oh my gosh. I have a nickname and it is the closer. This nice lady in front of you is not the lady who organized department heads and stopped the work until people got paid. So it is like I really try to beg people like please don't make the closer come out.
I also imagine you having a pair of, I don't know, like just blue light glasses. Like the closers that I will put these on
Yeah,
and the
I will
closer will
put
be
these
here.
on right now, right now.
It'll be so goddamn quick.
Yeah. Yeah, she's spicy though. We want to keep the closer asleep. I would say just let her
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah, just bring me
Yeah.
at the end. If we need me at the end, like it's cool, but we want to keep her
Yeah.
sleeping.
It's like let's keep this on track. Yeah, yeah. You have that infectious energy that, especially working on a soundstage. Soundstage stages are great because you have those controlled elements, right? But you don't really know unless we're doing like paramedic runs. You don't really know what time of day it is. It's just absent.
Oh yeah, oh
So
my God.
having your energy in a labyrinth of a fake hospital was so just like uplifting and energizing because you're 8 hours in and you're going, I don't know what time it is. I don't know where we are. I'm gonna lose it though
Oh
somehow.
yeah,
I
for
don't know
real.
how. Yeah.
Well, and I even remember it was like days where it was like 120 outside, and I'm
Oh
in
my
my
God.
I'm in my sweater. I'm in a sweater.
I remember that.
And like you're saying, you don't know what it is, and maybe you get cut early, or maybe your scene finishes early, and you
Yeah.
open the door, and you're like, "Oh my God, the sun is still up. Okay, it's only 5. Oh, I thought it was 10 p.m. because we've been inside for since 5 in the morning." Like,
They say, "Oh, guys are up. Have a good night." Ah, oh God. Yep. It's nighttime for sure. The sun's
yeah,
not blinding me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
You've you've worked with a lot of really interesting and notable figures in the industry as well. You don't have to name any names, but do you have I don't know, an experience working with somebody that you really just enjoyed? It was just something really uplifting and fun. I guess maybe if you wanted to name the name, since this is a good story, it would probably make more sense. But yeah, who have you really enjoyed working with of those
Um,
figures?
I mean, we can start the name dropping. Why not? Why
Let's
not?
do it.
Why
Let's
not?
name
Let's
drop.
do it. Anthony Hopkins is like a sweet baby angel.
Oh shit.
He talks about his cats. He's so beyond lovely. Um, I the movie that I just did had Justin Long in it, and he is phenomenal. Like just a joy. And in a situation where it wasn't always perfect, he always was like so supportive and wonderful. He is awesome beyond. I call it the before times.
Yeah.
I had done a cheesy Lifetime movie with Wendy Malick,
Oh,
and I
nice.
think it's called like Deadliest Grandma. I
No
will not forget
shit.
because in the pandemic, Stephen King tweeted about it. I think it's in my Instagram. It says something like, how could you go wrong with Deadliest Grandma? Just I love it when people don't, there's time to take cinema serious, and I
Yeah.
think there's time to have fun, right? And I love both, and they both have a place. And I love a cheesy Lifetime movie. Like they're a hoot. Like if you just want to throw it on, like you're guaranteed a
Yeah.
good time. And we certainly had a good time making the movie with Wendy, and she was just such a delight. She was so fun and funny. Um, and I don't know that beyond the Pulse experience, that was
Mhm.
probably the last time where I was like feeling like, oh my God, I love my job so much.
Yeah. Well, shit. I mean,
So it's,
yeah.
it's good when those situations happen. It's good. I'm trying to think of anyone else that would be super cool. I'm like thinking. I did do this game show with a bunch of celebrities and their kids at one point. So we had like a revolving door of like random people. Like one day would be like someone from the Backstreet Boys, the next day it's like Mario Lopez, and it's a football player. So those people were all fun because the energy,
Mhm.
for a game show is so fun. People are
Yeah.
so those are probably my favorite good experiences. Oh my gosh, I did this like towards the very beginning of my makeup career. I did like one day on this like indie, and Roddy Piper was one of the cast members.
Holy shit.
And I will not take a picture with cast because I just don't for my department. It was taught to me, and I just will not change my way I do it. It's like I don't take pictures with people ever unless
Yeah.
if they ask me, I'll take a picture for them, but I won't
Okay.
ever like keep it or post it or anything. But Roddy Piper, I did get a picture with.
Hell
So, and
yes.
maybe doing this for 10 years, it's the only picture that I've asked anyone to take because I am such a they live nerd. Uh, and he was lovely. He was so lovely.
I heard he was a complete sweetheart.
Yeah, he just like talked about his kids and how much
Yeah.
he loved them. And he was like, oh, I just want to have like provide for my kids and make sure they can have whatever they need. I was just like, oh my God, Ronnie.
I thought I couldn't love you
Yeah.
even more. Oh
Yeah, I
my
am here
God.
to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
I,
Yeah, so definitely had some really, really good experiences. There's definitely been a little bit of crazy
yeah.
thrown in there too, but most of the time it's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I know, most of us expect that, right? When you walk into it, and if you see it happening, okay, it's going to be that kind of day.
Yeah,
I'm ready
exactly.
for
And
it.
adjust. Yeah,
Yeah.
adjust as needed.
Like, I'm going to tone
Put
down
those
my
closure
interaction.
glasses right in my top pocket.
Right. Like they're getting fresh. I'm
Yeah,
just going to
stick these in
smile.
here on the way to set, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Well, with everything you've done with your entire journey, your very like dynamic career, I do want to see if you have any advice that you've held on to that maybe, might help our listeners. Doesn't have to be entertainment based, could just be, an intrinsic message you give yourself or just something you hang on to. Do you have a piece of advice that you could just pull out of your hat?
Yeah, something that I say to myself often as like a a brown woman and also a bisexual woman, as an ADHD person. Like there's just so many, different things that make me who I am. And it can get hard sometimes. Like there is just so much rejection. But I try to tell myself that just because a gatekeeper has not chosen me today does not mean that I am not talented and I don't have value. And that's what I try to tell myself if I don't, get the jobs that I wanted, or, the position I wanted, maybe I'm a position lower, just try to encourage myself. I mean, there's so much work out there. And I'm just a big believer in like that if we share it, we all can kind of stay afloat, especially at this moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who need a job, that need help. And so I try to be as community minded as possible. And I think that is something that if I could pass that on, is that, if it's hard times, instead of one person taking the 5-day-a-week job, why don't we kind of share it? Where if one person gets 3 days, the other person gets two, the next week we switch.
Yeah.
That would be something. I think that if more of us could get on board with that, I think that especially in these times, it would help a lot of people to stay afloat and afford groceries.
Right. Yeah. Since when is an avocado like $3?
Yeah. Oh my God. Too much.
Well, and
Um, but yeah, I guess I'm
yeah.
trying to think of anything else. I mean, just being kind to each other too. I think that there's a place for everybody, just because someone is like in my department, I can speak on my department. If someone is not, capable of doing a bald cap, doesn't mean they're not great at doing like a supernatural clean beauty. So it's like you want to have everyone in your arsenal that's like has their moment to shine. And just because maybe one person can't do something someone else can, doesn't make either person less valuable to the team.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole it's like the department is a Swiss Army knife, and each person is a different extension of that. Like,
That is
I love that.
exactly it.
Yeah, especially makeup. I mean, you could have somebody who's amazing with prosthetics, but is really uncomfortable with, base makeup stuff that, they just there's a limitation there that they don't
Yeah, and
appreciate.
just even personality wise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
especially on Pulse, you could see everyone kind of like that was watching people on set kind of fell into where they would be with the talent, where they kind of had the same energy. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with the actors, you want to match that actor's energy. So there's definitely time, like I'm a very outgoing, vivacious person, but there's absolutely times where I'm sitting very quietly in my chair with the product in my hand,
Mhm.
ready to go, like a makeup fireman that I know this person is going to need because they've been crying all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's definitely um ways to kind of fit everybody to where they kind of do shine,
Mm.
and then everybody looks good and we all get hired again.
Right. Season 2.
Yeah, exactly. Green light it.
Green light. Come on, just do
Yeah, so it's exactly, I know, right? Um,
it.
but yeah, and I guess especially in this moment, I feel like it is important to say too for everyone to, kind of like not just be so hard on each other. There's a lot of perfection that's expected in our field, and most of the time it is pretty darn close to perfect, and people are operating at such a high level. But I do think that we can kind of take a breath and not just slay people because they forgot something in the trailer, or
Yeah.
um, put the wrong lip on at first and had to take a moment. Like I think we should just give a little more human grace, I think is great. But that's also why I think Pulse works so great, is that I never felt pressure that I felt on other jobs.
Yeah.
Like it was just insinuated and you're expected to come at the high level, but there was never any kind of like shaming or anything that was going on if someone was a literal human being. So
Yo,
love it.
absolutely. I honestly, that may be one of the best portions of working on that set is, yeah, it's a job, they're on a schedule, but not a single person, unless, you were purposefully not prepared, or, you just were being lazy, then you probably get a talking to. But Like the last day I worked there, I was so heat exhausted and out of breath and didn't have enough water that I went up on 2 takes, and I took that with me for like the next month. Like as an actor, you just hang on to it. And you're like, oh, you're stupid. You're so, you go. No one else was bothered. It's just we're all having
No.
fun. We're creating something. Yeah,
Yes.
like we're a team. Like
Yes.
we'll figure this
Yes.
out. Um,
Totally. And we're always harder on ourselves.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
so hard on myself, a little ADHD, or I am so hard on myself. But then sometimes, I'll see it, watch it back later, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, we're good." So I bet when we watch that scene, you're gonna be like, "We're good. We did good."
We're fine. We're fine. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're fine.
that'll.
We're totally.
I look forward to a year. I can just ventilate that portion of the that ADHD stress. Um, we probably can't talk about anything pulse related for this next portion as we're wrapping up, but I wanted to see if you had what I like to call a party story. So something that has happened either in your career or the journey to get to where you are now that could be funny, could be sad. It's just something that stands out in your life that you could tell it to friends at a party. I know you got to have a cluster of things you could probably talk about. Maybe names redacted, just in case.
Yeah. Oh golly. Oh golly. Thinking about, yeah, it's gonna take me a minute. It's okay. You're gonna edit this. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna keep
Um,
this. I'm not gonna keep this in. I would
yeah,
never.
totally. Oh my gosh. Let me think. Let me think. Um, I mean, I've got a lot of shenanigans stories from that Belize movie. That really was real humdinger. I actually have a really fantastic story from the movie that I just did that was little shenanigans.
Oh.
Um, but I don't know if I should tell that story yet because when stuff's not out yet.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We'll save that for next time.
Um, okay, so the Belize movie was a cheesy, like, Lifetime adjacent, Hallmark adjacent movie that had distribution. And we went to Belize, and Belize is a beautiful, beautiful place, but there's definitely a little shenanigans happening. Um, and in particular, when we were shooting in the big part of the city, we had all these like local fixers who happened to also be some of like the biggest drug runners.
Oh shit.
They were all lovely. Um, and they had told this would kind of be two in one. They had told one of the actors who was this like young white kid, uh, well, they had told the whole crew to like not leave the hotel. And so one of the actors, this young white kid, had like taken it upon himself, he was maybe 21, um, to like go for a walk. And he actually like got followed and they had to like protect him and bring him back. Um, and unfortunately, on the movie, our line producer or slash UPM, whatever position he was just not doing well. And so he had not brought enough cash with him on this trip to pay all the local actors they were hiring, like off the cuff. I mean, low budget shenanigans, like, so really
Yeah.
just shenanigans. And so because we were in Belize and there's a lot of drug running that goes on there, it is really hard to get cash out. And so there was such a racket for him to get this money out. And I specifically remember talking to one of the fixers and I was like, "Oh, what are you going to do? Because so and so, like, what if he doesn't get the money out?" And he was like, "Don't worry, mommy. If he doesn't get us the money, he's not going anywhere."
Oh my
And I was like,
God.
"Oh, I guess people like to play games and they're going to find out."
Yep.
So yeah, and the same producer who is just having the worst time and just not prepared at all. Like, um, he also had like his life threatened by this like person that they had like rented this gear from and then backed out of the deal or whatever. And I watched the guy tell him to his face, like, "You need to leave." the country. I was like, I am so glad I'm a nice, pretty lady today. I am not messing around with people.
Like, nope, nope. You're respectful,
Yeah.
and they respect you back.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Well, and I know that this was all 100% accurate because when we
Yeah.
got to the airport, like we got just totally ushered through. Like the fixers were with us and they were just making sure we were just, you know what I mean? It was like totally
Oh.
ushering us through. And I was like, oh, yeah. If they wanted to like keep him, they could have
Mhm.
totally been like,
Yeah. Don't let him through security.
yeah, yeah, totally. So I know, crazy. There's more stories. This is like the edited, like PG version of the stories from, I call it the Belize movie.
Okay, I'll have to. I know when I reached out to you, I don't think I ever looked at your website, so I Google searched you, and one of the thumbnails I think was the movie you shot in Belize. It was like something taken or like something like that.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
they must have wanted to save a lot of money to shoot in that place.
Yeah, I mean, Belize is it's so beautiful. We did a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
shooting like on the beach. Sadly, we were so busy. I never even got to dip a toe in the water.
Oh man.
Belize it's beautiful there. The people are so nice and so wonderful. The
Mhm.
food was, it was pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a cautionary party story on like independent filmmaking and like kind of like uh I have a little phrase I say, like, don't get white boy wasted. Like, don't be
Yeah.
white boy wasted doing your movie in another country and thinking that you can like kind of get away with what you get away with here. Like, no, you can't. Like, they're serious. You may not be serious, but they're serious.
Yeah, they'll tell you what's up. You might be hobbling back to the
Yeah.
hotel. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Don't be white boy wasted.
No, that I I'm still laughing at the
Exactly. I mean, I'm telling you the PG stories.
I
Like there
know.
are worse stories.
When I'm back down there and we're working together, just hanging out, I'll be like, all right, give me the rated R story.
Totally. Oh my God. And I have so many more. I have so many more from other jobs.
I just gotta honestly, next time I'm down there, I usually bring like a portable mic and I might just do on location stuff. We won't record the
I'm
R-rated
game.
portions of it, but I do want to hear because I love
Yeah. We won't name names.
yeah, we won't name names, but I love when, indie producers are a little out of their depth and not prepared in a place they probably aren't the safest because of what they have. Like,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
shit. If
Oh, yeah.
anything, pay those people first and then, whatever, just um yeah, we'll save that for next time. Uh I gotta wrap here. I don't want to take up too much of your day, but I just want to say like I miss working with you. I can't wait to work with you again. And you're a fucking joy. You're just the best. And
Oh,
yeah,
same. I cannot wait to get back to Pulse.
Pulse.
I'm putting it out there. I'm just manifesting, putting it, saying
Putting it out.
it.
Yeah, I'll creep by Netflix Studios and just do the hand on the window thing, like it's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
an estranged lover. Just come back. Well, the last thing I do for this show is what I like to call an awkward goodbye. Usually, I was doing a countdown. Now it just seems more natural to just go into it. So, if you wouldn't mind giving us your best verbal, visual, awkward goodbye, and I'll stop recording from there.
Goodbye.